What is up guys, Wolfgang here. So today I wanted to talk about the Samsung Space Monitor. Now I've had the Samsung Space Monitor for at least 2 years now and I have some thoughts I want to share. So let's get into it. Quickly hopping into the design part of the video, which is obligatory. I really do enjoy how this monitor looks from the front. It's very boxy, very plain, not too much markings except a Samsung logo here at the bottom right. And well, I personally enjoy how it looks, although several monitors nowadays look like this, and it might even be a generic chassis. And real quickly, if we go to the port section of the monitor, you can see it has 2 ports right there, and it has a cable channel, which is really nice to be able to hide your cables. So back here you get a power input, an HDMI 2.0 port, I believe it's 2.0B, and a mini display port, as well as a USB-A for troubleshooting or debugging. So not much use for the normal person. Now the really nice part of this monitor is how flexible it is. So as you can see here in the pictures provided on the website, this monitor comes with a monitor arm of sorts. It's not the arm that you'll usually know and love from different secondary purchases perhaps for monitors. But it is definitely a really nice arm if you're not willing to buy a secondary arm. So what this monitor can do is basically completely move out of the way and give you a lot of desk space if you don't really need to be looking at something really close up. However, it does raise the monitor quite a bit, and once you need it back, you can bring it back in by just pulling it inwards. As you can see, this monitor is offered in both 27 inches and 32 inches. And now, although there isn't much of a price difference, there is a difference in resolution and refresh rate. So, if we talk about the 27-inch monitor, which is the one I have here and have had for quite some time, it is a matte VA panel. So it's pretty good at handling reflections, and it has decent black levels. It will not compare to OLED ever, but it is definitely usable. Now, like I said, this is a 27-inch panel, and it is a 1440p panel, which means it is 2560 by 1440 pixels, which is a very sharp resolution, I'd say, especially comparing it to something like HD, which is 720p. This is somewhere around double that resolution. Comparing it to 1080p, well, I'd say at this size it does make a difference. However, if you're using a 24-inch or smaller monitor, I'd say the difference between 1440p and 1080p is barely noticeable. Once you get into 27 to 32 inches, I would say it's definitely much more important to have 1440p. Continuing with the 27-inch, it is a 144 Hz screen, and fortunately HDMI 2.0B is able to carry a 1440p resolution image at 144 Hz. So you do get to enjoy the experience of the monitor with any of the 2 cables or the 2 inputs. Now what's nice about this monitor is that it also comes with a cable, which is not shown on their website, but it comes with a HDMI cable, which is integrated with the power cable, which makes it much more easier to route the cables through the cable channels, and it makes it, well, a much more tidier experience, and it makes it so much more enjoyable. Now then, as far as colors go, as it is a VA panel, I would say it's not the best. I do not have the tools to test it, nor do I have any information on anyone testing the color accuracy on this panel. But from my experience and use, I can say it is definitely a okay to pretty good color accuracy or color image, or what I think about the colors basically, because I can't say accuracy. But I've used it for video editing, I've used it for gaming, I've used it for content watching, and it's a pretty good panel. Now, if I compare it to something maybe like my tablet, which is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, video up here, I'd say the Tab has better colors for sure, but it is an OLED panel, so it has even a higher resolution, so it's kind of non-comparable, especially besides this was released quite a long time ago, and the tablet was released this year, so it is a bit harder to compare those two. But the point is, I'd say this is a decent screen quality. As far as price goes, well, Here's when it gets interesting. I'm mostly making this video only to complete my setup videos, as well this screen is no longer available and is not on sale and has not been for quite some time. I doubt it will ever come back in stock. They may make a new version with higher resolutions, new display types, and so on and so forth, but there's no way they're making the same one I bought again. So it is not available. As you can see, notify me. And the same goes for the 32-inch version. And real quick, the 32-inch version is a 4K panel at 60 Hz. So it's a bigger screen, more resolution, less refresh rate. Depends really what you want to think about it, if you want to buy it or not. Now then, I bought this panel, or I bought this monitor at $300 when it released and when I bought it. I'd say that is a decent price for a pretty solid monitor. I've been using it all this time. I've definitely exceeded the point of $1 per day, which is amazing, and I've truly enjoyed using this monitor all this time. I do hope to get a OLED monitor next, just because I enjoy OLED so much. Their colors are amazing, and well, I can start reporting on burn possibly. We'll see if that happens. Now then, my only two gripes with this monitor are the arm, which is part of the cool part about this monitor. It forces you to do two movements at the time. So you can either move it away and upwards, or you can get it closer and lower it, which is not ideal. Now, to be able to replace that, to make it independent movements, you would have to buy a third-party arm. So, I mean, I guess it's part of the deal. You're getting a decent arm for pretty much nothing extra, so I can't really be too mad about that, but it is something to consider. And this monitor is not VESA compliant, so you are kind of forced to use this monitor arm or a monitor arm that is made for this screen, which now that the screen isn't available, I kind of doubt that there will be arms available, but well, you could give it a shot if you're interested, I guess. And then my other gripe with this monitor is the ports themselves. So as I showed you guys earlier, it only has 2 ports for video. And now that isn't too big of an issue most of the time, but some people would like to, for example, have maybe a Chromecast as well as their PC and maybe a gaming console as well connected to this monitor to use all 3. Now in this case, you would have to get something like an HDMI splitter, which isn't too big of a deal. However, I would prefer not to have to buy one of those. So as I've had a few bad experiences with those, and I just prefer, to have them all directly connected to the monitor. In this case, you only get those 2 ports, so you can maybe use the DP for your computer, and then the HDMI for both the Chromecast and the gaming console. Now, in my opinion, getting a Chromecast while having a PC and a gaming console connected to the monitor seems a little bit redundant, but if that's what you want to do, for example, it might be a little bit annoying. Keep that in mind for any monitors you're going to buy in the future. Alright, so getting to a conclusion. I'd say this has been a great monitor for the time I've used it. It had a pretty decent price. It fit my use case and it was great when I bought it. However, by now, it's probably a bit too old for anyone to consider buying it, if you can even find it. Honestly, I would recommend getting pretty much any other kind of monitor. NZXT has some decent monitors currently, the InZone ones, which are quote-unquote made for PlayStation, or go even higher end. Maybe get something like a Samsung Neo G9, or Neo G8 actually is a really solid option, I'd say. Or for example, what I want to get is the Asus ROG PG42UQ, I believe it's called. It is an OLED monitor, 42 inches, and it's a 4K panel with, I believe it's up to 138 hertz overclocked, I believe. So yeah, it's going to be a really great monitor. Of course, it's very expensive. At this current point, it's more expensive than my computer, but I am going to buy a new graphics card for my computer to be able to run 4K very well at high refresh rates. But for the time being, this monitor has been great. I have enjoyed it, and I'll be using it for the next maybe year at most, I'd say. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this monitor. Just wanted to make a video to complete my setup and show you guys a bit more detail into each part of it. I may be making a dedicated setup video just overviewing everything together. But, well, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos that I release, and hit the bell icon so you get notified. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day.